Alrighty, hello everybody, and welcome back to the 1K World Cup 2025 presented by Joke. We're rolling right along this round of 20 weekend with another very crucial match, an elimination match. It is going to be Norway going against the Autobahn Avengers to see who will be advancing to the bracket stage. It is going to be a straight up 2v2. Everybody in this lobby is going to have to play all of these maps whether they want to or not. And we shall see how they fare here. As always, my name is Sparky, and I am joined in the commentary booth by none other than Epic Man 2. Hey man, how's it going?
Yo, hello, happy to be here. This is my first match of the 1K World Cup 2025, like, when it comes to commentating, and, it's safe to say that I'm, like, quite interested to see how things are going to be going. This is, like, the first time I'm commentating for something different for a change, but I'm interested to see how things unfold here. So far, it seems like Norway going to be starting the match quite bold here, as seen as they've won the role, so they're going to go immediately for picking Classic Rice Free, or Classic Map Free, which is Senorita Bonita by Cell Dweller.
Yeah, this one, classic from Joke 2, I believe, round of 32. Pretty hard chart in the grand scheme of things. In comparison to some of the other maps in the pool, there are some tricky transitions to navigate that the players will have to watch out for. And like you mentioned, it's going to be very interesting to see how these two teams stack up against each other. It's like, this is the widest seed discrepancy we have in the essentially elimination bracket. As we roll along this weekend, we'll have a mixture of the top 12 teams going up against each other, and then the bottom 8 fighting for their tournament lives. And this is about as wide as you can get, 13 versus 20. Autobahn Avengers barely scraping it into the round of 20, and Norway just outside of securing a near guaranteed spot in that bracket stage. But regardless, once we get into this map, it looks like the players are ready. We can get things underway here.
Absolutely, very well said there. Autobahn Avengers quite lucky to have made it into the bracket stage after, or at least like this round after like the qualifiers phase had started. But despite that, going to be starting off with the first pick, Senorita Bonita. This map is no idea that it originates from Joke 2 in the round of 16. From what I can see, it's basically like a map that is really heavy on the coordination and also alternating side of things. As we can see, both players on Norway had actually taken a drop, but so far as it seems, Autobahn Avengers is at quite a massive disadvantage here, just based off of like the the progressively decreasing accuracy from Jojo Flower there. And so far, the score lead is just only increasing up to the 300,000 mark.
Yeah, despite the rocky start from Norway, able to stabilize much easier in comparison to that no-name boy and Jojo Flower on the other side, as there are a couple of trades coming through here. But despite that no-name boy actually having higher accuracy than Zikwit's, Crustbell being able to hold on to this 99% for Norway in comparison to Jojo Flower, kind of making this map a bit of a wash. And with how short this map is, any drops at any time just bleed over tens of thousands of points. Can't really afford to find drops at all, and with the amount that they're occurring at, this near 700,000 point lead is basically what happens if you're not comfortable handling a map at that speed and at this length. And Norway going to comfortably pick up the first point here to make it 1-0.
Absolutely, Norway kicking off the match with their first pick and also their first point respectively, going to just capitalize off of the fact that capitalize off of the comfort that they would have on these kinds of patterns. Crustbell accumulating the highest score in the lobby so far. From what I can see here, Zikwitz and that no-name boy had a relatively close score by about 4,000 points between each other. It's basically just Jojo Flower's score, like, kind of anchoring the score lead that could have been on the side of Autobahn Avengers, that basically sort of halted them from being able to sort of tackle Norway in a way that would have been like as satisfactory for them. But despite that, Autobahn Avengers going to be making the next move, and it seems they're going for the title track to start their match off.
Alrighty, this is a nice little change of pace here, where not as many LMs to contend with. This you can kind of try to basically it's just alternating 1/4 rhythms and a lot of 1/2. And given some of the conversation going on in the lobby, I imagine single tapping is probably the name of the game, and trying to get a bit of a handle on like alternating patterns. It's going to be one of those where once we get into those longer stretches, especially towards the middle of the song, there's some really long 1/4 runs to read through. That's probably going to be the tipping point if Autobahn Avengers can maybe hang on to some combo there, or at least two of that section, and hope that Norway has a bit of a struggle there. Just one extra miss here or there. I mean, just kind of throwing things out as to what they can kind of hang on to in terms of expectations going into this one, because there are going to be some hard sections in this map as we get things underway here.
Yeah, the title track is a map that heavily contrasts the likes of Senorita Bonita as we would have seen earlier, because like this is still a map that is heavily reliant on control, but it does it in like a very different manner, because like Senorita Bonita is like a song that's basically mid-tempo oriented and more electronic, whereas this one is more rock punk oriented. So the fact that this is like a lot faster, you get like a lot of these like streams that are a bit more extensive and to some degree. And as we can see, Norway still getting the upper hand as well on this match. It seems to be the same way as it was on Senorita Bonita, albeit Norway did not have such a rocky start as they had in the former.
Yeah, definitely a bit more of a comfortable start here for all the players. That No Name Boy actually having a bit of a lower accuracy compared to Senorita Bonita, but still holding on to the S rank here for the moment. But both Zikwitz and Crustbelt in that 99% range, definitely showing a bit more comfort on this chart, where they can just get into these straightforward rhythms and able to kind of build some combo and basically back each other up. And as we continue on, about 400,000 points hasn't become a bit of a runaway. This is the hardest portion of the song, and being able to make it through all of those runs relatively intact is basically more than you can ask for if you are the Autobahn Avengers here. And for them, I'm hoping that it's one of those situations where these scores are at or around their practice scores, where it's like it's a really hard transition to get into one key. And when you've had maps like this that have been around for as many years, and you have players that have been grasping in and around the one key space for a while now, I mean, we're already going to have new faces, and you got to start somewhere. And I mentioned it when Japan played Australia. It's like I always like to see players grabbing onto one key for the first time, because there will reach a point where it just kind of clicks and the scores are just gonna like shoot up astronomically. And right now we're just waiting for that moment for the Autobahn Avengers, as Norway picks up a second point in this match. A very clean performance overall from them, a couple of misses here and there, but a very nice team score overall.
Indeed, Norway getting quite the strong performance on their side of the platter here on the title track, basically securing the breakpoint lead, as we can see, basically making it 2-0.
Yeah, right now, Autobahn Avengers asking for a little bit of time. Looks like a bit of a medical break needed. Gotta make sure everything's in check here.
Yeah.
And
Oh, sorry.
Oh, I was about to say, going into the fan pick, or the fan map. no better fan than Patiraj, a long-time mapper for one key events in general. And this one, a pretty difficult chart overall.
Yeah, Icicles is like one of those maps like in this map pool where it's like basically you've got like all these other maps which basically cover like different sort of like fields that I bet most people would be expecting to see in a map pool with like at least some sort of diverse song choice, to say the least. Like you've got like a lot of these like electronic rock metal oriented songs, as you can see throughout like the rest of the map pool, and then you get something like Icicles, which is like basically a lot more daunting to play in its own right because of the fact that because it basically distinguishes itself from like the rest of the song choice in the pool, with it being like more jazz oriented. And this one only clocking it at about 1 minute and 46 seconds. It definitely makes for like a map that can really like catch on the nerves on like anyone here. So Norway, in that regard, is like really bold for like picking this. Maybe they feel like a strong surge of confidence when it comes to this map. Autobahn Avengers, I'm honestly kind of interested to see how both teams are going to sort of squabble up on this map, as we can see here.
For sure. My favorite thing going into this map is always just when we go from like synth to this like indie rock, and then it's like, you like jazz? It's a great transition. We took three different 180s somehow, completely different genres in terms of map choice, and this one absolutely the hardest of the three that we have played so far. There's so many tricky polyrhythmic sections towards the end of this map that even the higher seeded teams in this tournament might struggle with if they aren't too careful. So getting into this soon, looks like players are ready. Looks like the players were able to take care of the things they needed to. I mean, you do get 2 minutes to ready up, so it wasn't that much time taken. But as we get on into it, this will be again another short map. We've been just shy of 2 minutes on basically everything outside of like the title track so far.
Yeah, absolutely. And going into the introduction of Icicles alone, you get to see that you're already thrown into like a lot of these really sort of dense like alternating patterns. As you can see, like you get a lot of these like really short lens, and you get like this burst stream there that catches which is going to catch that no-name boy off with just 2 drops, and so far so good for the side of Norway. It is going to be quite another massive score lead for them as well. Jojo Flower just dropping under the 60% accuracy mark, while Crispell still maintaining above the 99.20, just still maintaining above the 99% accuracy mark. Zikwitz basically not too far behind by only 98%, but that no-name boy has taken quite a drastic drop going into this map, especially. Zikwitz taking their first drop so far is Crossbell, basically the only one hanging onto the FC, as we can see so far. This is quite remarkable, knowing the map is quite infamous for its relatively like dense jazz patterns. As you can see, it takes quite a bunch of fear to be able to like actually have the control to just combo for everything, and Crispell just basically demonstrating their ability in that field is nothing short of commendable here.
Yeah, for sure. The fact that Crispell's been able to make it this far, there are some really tricky sections. The feel of this map changes so drastically at points. Oh, missing it on the last burst there, but able to hang on for as long as they did. That last burst catching them out. Unfortunate at the end of the day, but more than enough to secure the MVP in the lobby. Everybody kind of riding the struggle bus a little bit in comparison to their prior performances. But I mean, to be fair, this is one of the harder maps in the pool, save for maybe the custom new map 2. Might take the title for hardest map in this pool just stylistically, but honestly, really good performances overall in the grand scheme of things for this map. So now we go 3-0 up Norway, firmly in control here as we wait for the Autobahn Avengers to choose their next map. It's going to be Classic 2, so sticking with the Classic maps, things that have existed for a while, maybe just a little bit more familiarity, having seen them before, or at least pattern-wise not as ambitious, maybe, as some of the newer maps. I know Icicles and, like I was alluding to, Beyond the Decision are pretty hard in their own right. The fact that they're pretty fresh, new takes on how to interpret maps being employed there compared to how 1K used to be mapped. God, when was Joke 2? Like 3.5 years ago?
Literally, yeah.
Oh god.
Oh my god. We're becoming old.
Oh,
That is scary to think about.
I'm gonna be in a retirement home next year. People think 20s are bad. I'm pushing 30 here, man.
Dude, literally, it's been nearly 6 years since I even entered this game, and I'm literally still here somehow. I don't know how, but despite that, everything just keeps evolving. So might as well just get with the times, I guess.
Absolutely. What is it? The future is now. But regardless, looks like the players are ready to get into this fourth map. Longest one in this match so far, 3.5 minutes basically, but has a lot of calmer downtime to kind of stabilize. But when you get into those choruses is really when things start to get a little bit more complicated. And as we get things underway here, not going to be a massive flurry of notes to swing over to Norway's side, but still going to be nursing about a 50,000 point lead through this introduction, through the first 100 notes. That Noting Boy and Crossbell able to stand toe-to-toe against each other. Crossbell holding on to the accuracy advantage. Ziquids, despite finding an early drop, able to lend some good supporting score. And for Norway, talking about them moving on into the round of 16, it'll be interesting to see how they stack up against the other teams in this bracket. I think we were asking the organizers, or at least folks with more knowledge than we do at the time, as to who's going to be playing who. But apparently the winner of this match will face off against
the winner of United States and Sweden.
Thank you. So that would be the US A team versus Sweden, because there are multiple United States rosters. That is the de facto A team, for anybody curious. But yeah, that'll be their opponent next weekend. And if anything, this is just good preparation for them to get the nerves out, as I was alluding to earlier. Just seeing players get over that hump of the learning curve that is 1K. If they can kind of figure it out once we get into round of 16 and develop some already good scores, get those 97s, those 98 into like low 99s, they can catch out some of the teams in this tournament. They aren't too careful. This mode is so combo reliant. The fact that a lot of the maps, even in later game, are only about, say, like 800 to 1300 notes. There's plenty of margin for them to catch teams unawares if the preparation isn't good enough. But as things stand, both of them looking very strong. That Noting Boy actually, I want to say top of the lobby actually, given everything. Only player above that 400 combo cap. Ziquids losing their combo, with leaving Crossbell next highest, but cresting that 99% mark, and I believe still holding on to the FC here for Autobahn Avengers. I mean, there are glimmers. Like, I don't want to, despite the score line and despite the score differences, the individual performances are, as I mentioned before, hopefully at or exceeding the levels of their overall preparation, and hopefully that's something that they can kind of build upon in future iterations. Yeah, team tournaments are always that little bit of a thing where it's like, okay, you gotta have two people that can do it, but if you get into the individual events, then I mean, these individual performances are pretty good, at least in the context of each player's own expectations.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I think like when matches these where it's basically like okay, you're basically like sort of expected to like go against a team where basically where it's like basically both the teams have like a very sort of like different sort of measure when it comes to consistency in their team players specifically. Like, I think it is at that point where like it's not really about like winning, but like also about just at least like trying your best, really. Like, as we can see, Norway basically managed to like secure match point already, while Autobahn Avengers still yet to secure a point of some form. But despite that, it seems like Norway, with their potential final pick, they're going to be going out for the joke original, Beyond the Decision by Cyclo.
I'll correct you there, Cyclo. We got the pronunciation yesterday, and they drilled it into my head. So now
my bad. Yeah.
I am obligated to make sure it gets pronounced correctly. But yeah,
thank you so much for that.
Beyond the Decision, a absolute banger of a chart. When I saw that this was a custom for this tournament, I was so excited. I really enjoy their music, so getting something tailor-made for this is pretty special.
Absolutely. Cyclo is like one of those artists that's like an absolute veteran when it comes to the realm of rhythm game music. Like, they've been around for just over a decade or something like that. So it's honestly really interesting to see them like produce like and contribute like a custom song for a tournament on this caliber, basically. Like, I think this is like the first time that I've seen the likes of Cyclo like make a custom original song for a tournament in the OST community, at least. Just based off of like what I've seen so far, knowing that there's like quite a plethora of artists, but like Cyclo is like distinct from like all the other ones, basically, to say the least.
Yeah, I don't think a lot of people would have them on their list for making a community run tournament. I guess World Cups are kind of an exception. I'm trying to cast my mind back to all the customs ever made, and there's too many to count. So if we have missed one, oops. That's a lot of tournaments to keep track of. But regardless, we're gonna get into this fifth map here. Norway on the cusp of punching their ticket into the round of 16 bracket with, I guess, the contestable hardest map in this pool. And I mentioned it when I was doing the match between Japan and Australia. It's like, I love that Joke is continuing the tradition of having a hybrid-esque map that is a half step harder than everything else in this pool, because it definitely feels like this map is like a half step above everything else, very much tiebreaker-esque. It has that vibe of if it was allowed to be mapped at the level I guess the mapper wanted to make it, it could have been so much harder. This is a very much, dare I say, simplified version of what it could have been, and it still manages to maintain that vibe as all the players picking up a couple of misses here through this introduction. Don't blame them. It is a very nasty section of just non-stop LN to Rice transitions and maintaining the consistent rhythms. A lot of even 1/4 start and stop patterns, so you're having to end some of these streams on the offhand, and if you're not keeping track of them with expert precision, you just start overhitting all over the place, and everybody below that 97% mark is kind of a sign of maybe some discomfort with the pattern variety. But regardless, Norway riding off to about a 450,000 point lead going into the last quarter of the map here.
Yeah, absolutely. Norway having such an immaculate like score lead when it comes to their reign in their favor, going through such a very hardcore techno-y like song that you would probably expect from the sort of like from the kind of scene that is BMS music in general. even with those misses from Crossbell and Ziquiz, that they are not going to matter so much here. Just basically like counting off of the team consistency from Autobahn Avengers alone, and with that, the map closes out on those final LNs and Shield, and I guess we have a winner.
Yep, Norway takes it 5-0. Going to punch their ticket into the round of 16 and face off against the winner of the United States and Sweden. And for Autobahn Avengers, hopefully they have fun with their foray into the realm of 1K. It is a very steep mountain to climb, but I have faith that they will surmount it eventually if they do keep their nose to the grindstone and continue to play it. Hopefully they try out some of the future pools to see their progression and how they perform on those maps. But that will do it for us here. We'll take a tiny bit of a break. I think there's an hour gap between this match and the next one. And as much as I would like to commentate it, I don't think I can physically do that.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, the next match after this is for the United States v 66% Canadian, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be, I guess, USB for United States versus 66% Canadian. They lost
USB.
They lost a third of it.
Yeah.
But as things stand, we'll go ahead and close things up for now and take a bit of a break. But we'll be back in about an hour for that last match of Saturday. After that will be the Sunday block of matches, a bit sporadic, touch and go here and there, but hopefully you guys stick around for all of them. But until then, we'll catch you guys later.
Yeah, thank you all so much for tuning into this match. We hope to catch you in a moment. See you then.